Hello everybody, Dylan Geddes here, Gnarled Iron Forge. Today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a little bit of an FAQ. A lot of questions that I get at craft shows, a lot of questions that I get at demonstrations and such. I kind of wanted to post a video just depicting all of these questions. I've compiled a list, and I will go through them now as I start my forge for the morning. One question that I get a lot of is, am I out here every day? Yes, every single day. Lately, I've been giving myself Sundays, but even yesterday, which was Sunday yesterday, today's Monday. Even yesterday, I came out here just to move some stuff around. I don't know. I've always been born and bred to just work constantly, and I don't feel good enough. There's this voice in the back of my mind that tells me I need to do at least something out here in a day. Oh, whether that be lighting the forge and actually working, doing some cold forge work, which we can discuss later, or just moving things around, filming a video, such like that. So, yes, I am out here every day. Next question. So I already filmed some of this stuff, and I hope I didn't lose it, but I think I lost it, so I'm just going to go through everything else again. Is everything at my table forged by hand? So that's something that I get a lot at craft shows. People look at my stuff and they're like, oh, how is this made? Or did you really make all of this? Or is all of this like cast or whatever? A lot of people ask me if things are cast. No, I don't cast anything. I do not have a foundry. I'm not necessarily as interested in foundry work as I am in blacksmithing. Everything that I make is forged by hand completely. Just to give like an example, the drill press that I have, I barely ever use. It's still set up for the monkey tool that I made. Like you can see over there, if you wish to cross-reference what that looks like right now, it hasn't changed at all. And that's because I just don't use it. I punch all of my holes. I've made punches for that exact purpose. I've made this out of 01 drill rod. I've made this slot punch here out of an old chisel. I make all of my own punches so that way I can punch all of my own holes, because that's the way that things were done. And I wish to be as traditional in my blacksmithing as possible. So yes, everything that I make is done by hand, and that's actually one of the main reasons why I'm no longer making knives. I am just done with it, because for the amount of time that it takes to make a knife completely by hand, like completely by hand from scratch, forging the whole thing out and then doing all of that, it takes me a long time because I'm not a master bladesmith. I am not a journeyman bladesmith. I'm not even an apprentice bladesmith. I'm a blacksmith, and I can make knives, and I've made some pretty good knives in the past. You can check out my Facebook page. I have quite a few knives on there that I've made. They look quite well. Do not ask me for a knife, please. Because the price point that I would have to ask for a knife, you could go and get $100 to $200 knife that would be just as good, if not better. So in today's society, it does not make sense for me to pursue bladesmithing at this time, nor do I just really like it, because you are spending a lot of time grinding and filing, and that is not what I want out of my career. So no longer doing bladesmithing. How hot does your forge get? Let me put it into perspective. I can melt steel in my forge, and I can melt steel in my forge quite easily. Actually, I do. Not as often as I used to, but on occasion, I do indeed melt steel in my forge. And steel melts at about 2,500 to 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit. That is like something in like the 14 to 1,800 degrees Celsius or something. I don't know the conversion, so I apologize for that. I do the freedom units. I don't do Celsius. So yeah, that's the forge gets hot, like white hot, consistently. She be kicking. Do you do this as a hobby, or are you a full-time blacksmith? I am indeed a full-time blacksmith. I am out here every single day, whether I like it or not. And to spoil it, I always like it. I went full-time about like 3 months ago, I believe it was. I decided to go full-time. And I actually did it on my birthday, fun fact. I decided to give myself a dang good birthday present of doing what I love, when I love, how I love. Now, does that mean that this is all fairy tale fun and games out here? Sadly, no. I have to do things and I have to make things. It is still a job. But that's the beauty of it, is that I love the job. I cannot, I don't make a lot of money out here. I make barely any. I used to work at a warehouse, McLean specifically, handling boxes, and I was specifically I was a picker, so I would drive around on a machine, and I would basically do some really complicated grocery shopping for like Walmart, 7-Eleven, a lot of gas stations and such, a lot of big orders, a lot of water, and that's how I used to stay in shape. And I no longer do that, so to the gym I go every morning. Not this morning, because, man, I'm busy. Do I do traditional blacksmithing or modern blacksmithing? I assume that means, do I use an induction forge, propane forge, coal forge, or machinery and, power hammer and the like? First of all, power hammers are actually traditional. Power hammers have been around for a very long time. So if you see somebody working a power hammer and you say, well, that isn't how it was done, it actually is. They had power hammers that were run by windmills, and let's just be real, guys. If you expect blacksmiths to still use windmills instead of pneumatic or belt-driven power hammers, that's just kind of silly. There are people that still use those, but very rarely. So, yeah. But yes, I do everything traditional. I do everything kind of old school, old-fashioned, I guess you would say. Everything's done with a hammer at the anvil, so on and so on. Next question, speaking of anvil, a lot of people ask me, how heavy is my anvil? Currently, the anvil that I use is a 110-pound Vivor. Not exactly the best, but like we said earlier, I'm not making a whole lot of money, so I don't have a nice one, but it does the job quite well. The only complaint that I've had about it so far is, for some reason, this thing is an absolute heat sink. All anvils are, but this one in particular, I don't know what causes it. Maybe there's some different compound of steel that causes it to soak up heat easier, but this thing, compared to the other two anvils that I've had, it just absolutely drains the heat out of whatever you're working, which is fine, which just kind of means that sometimes I need to take more heats to do the same thing. People ask me if I use a coal forge, propane forge. Well, actually, a lot of people ask specifically if I use a charcoal or propane, which, do people not know that you still use coal? Either way, I use coal. I use coal wherever I can get it. I have to buy it in bulk soon because it's not sold around here. And to go more in depth about it, I specifically use bituminous coal as opposed to anthracitic coal. Bituminous coal has a lot of impurities in it, bitumen, tar, sulfur, all that jazz. And when you bake and cook all of the impurities out of it, similar to charcoal with wood, you end up with a product called coke, and that burns a decent amount hotter, burns cleaner because there's more surface area because all of those impurities are baked out of it. It actually puffs up specifically. Like here, I can show you. So this is coal here. It's a little piece of coal, but it's coal nonetheless. And this is a piece of coke. So you can see these probably weren't the exact same size, but they were similar. So you can see this one is a lot fluffier, and how's that for some ASMR? I can actually take this and break it entirely by hand. And this one I cannot. So this is with it kind of popcorns up almost. It blows up. And it burns a lot hotter, a lot cleaner. Anthracitic coal does not do that. Anthracitic coal is very clean compared to bituminous coal. I'm sick of leaning down, sorry. Sick of leaning down, so you won't see all the beautiful wood clipping that I'm doing. Anyway. So, anthracitic coal does not do that. It doesn't coke up, so that's the reason why it's kind of difficult to find coal as a blacksmith, because you can't just buy it at Tractor Supply. You can't just buy it at a coal distributor, because coal distributors normally just do anthracitic coal. Bituminous coal is kind of on the back burner now. People don't normally use it, so a lot of places actually don't sell it. For me, the closest place that I can get bituminous coal is 3 hours away. So it takes quite a bit to actually get it, and that's why I got the big old truck. How did I get into this? I think that's going to be our last question, because that's a long one. And it's something that I talk about quite often because I get this question a lot. How did I get into blacksmithing? What caused me to get into blacksmithing? Why do I like it so much? Because if you ever meet me in person and you talk to me for a little bit, or if you're one of my friends, you'll know that whatever we talk about, okay, fine, da-da-da, but as soon as we start talking about blacksmithing, energy is through the roof. The reason why it's not right now is because it's 5 o'clock in the morning, my hands are cold, and I should probably start the forge. Now, I apologize. I know there are people out there that get antsy when discussing religion. This will be a slightly religious talk. I do not try to push my religion on anybody. I am Christian. I'm a devout Christian. I've been a Christian for a little bit now. I was raised Catholic. My denomination right now is kind of in the air. I've kind of always believed in a little bit of predestination. Just because, for some reason, like, everybody asks me, how did I get into blacksmithing? Or why am I so interested in blacksmithing? So on and so on. It's just always been in the back of my mind. I can trace it back to when I played a game called Fate and Fate Undiscovered Realms. That was a very good game, a dungeon crawl game. The very first thing that I ever forged was a leaf pendant. I don't have an example of one right now, but you guys have seen me do a lot in the past. Just because they're very good for developing technique. But I remember playing video games as a kid, and I've just always wanted to be a blacksmith. It's really weird to me. If you believe in God or if you believe in Buddha, I guess in that retrospect, maybe I was reincarnated, but in a previous life I was a blacksmith, and it just still calls out to me. Even my brother is insanely interested in blacksmithing, but sadly he lives states away, and he's not able to make it out to my shop, or else we would get that gentleman. We would get that gentleman behind the hammer, because I feel like everybody that I've talked to, probably just because, I'm talking to them because they came up to my table. So obviously everybody that I talk to is moderately interested in blacksmithing. I feel like everybody should at least try it. But of course, I'm biased because I love blacksmithing, and I always have, and I probably always will. And my whole life's goal is to just spread awareness of blacksmithing and continue on the hammering and such to other generations and such. Yes, one of my goals is to start a school, which is hopefully not too insane of an idea. But yeah, I've just always wanted to be a blacksmith. I'm sorry if that answer is a little, wishy-washy for you. I know I went to a Renaissance fair when I was younger, and I saw a blacksmith working, and that kind of really solidified it in my mind. That kind of really, really got the bug going, It gave me the itch to be a blacksmith. But yeah, I think that about does it. All right, friends, that's all the time that I got for this video. If you like it, please like it. If you dislike the video, feel free to dislike it. Let me know why in the comments down below as to why you either like it or dislike it, so that way I might better make content for all you lovely individuals of the future. It really means a lot to me that you joined me, and if you would like to continue joining me on this lovely adventure, please consider subscribing. And if you want to help me grow, as a channel, please consider giving my channel a share. It would mean a heckin' lot to me. And I think mainly the thing that I would love if you would do in this video is come up with a question. leave it down in the comments. I respond to every single comment that I get. Truly, I'm one of the few YouTubers that does nowadays. So it's probably because I'm so small, and if I end up getting bigger, it would probably become more difficult. But yeah, I respond to every comment. So if you have any questions for a blacksmith or a budding blacksmith, want to critique my forging skills or something, go ahead, please leave a comment down below as a question, and I will give it an answer. I'm actually kind of considering, like every Sunday, doing a sit down by the forge and like doing a video where I respond to comments, because I think it would be more personal. And then obviously putting a reply on it anyway. Thank you all so much for watching, and I truly hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.